I want candy.
I like candy when she's wrapped in a sweater. You know I do.
Sugar.
Welcome to the Rowdy.com Big Three. Well, no, we're not talking honey, or sugar, or wanting candy. We are talking NASCAR racing, the Big Three burning issues today.
Yeah, and it's the Kasey edition because two of our issues are Kasey-centric.
One with a K, one with a C.
Issue number one is Kasey Kahne. It's official, even though Jim Utter broke the story over the weekend. Press releases went out this morning. It is now official. Kasey Kahne to Red Bull Racing for the 2011 season. Buck Fever, what does the Red Bull driver lineup look like next year?
I don't know. It looks like Kasey Kahne's going to be in the car. I mean, I worry big time about Brian Vickers. This blood clot thing is serious, and we've not heard any good news from out of that camp. Nothing. And if they'd had some good news, I would have had to imagine it had been leaked by now. I hope it's Brian Vickers, and I hope it's Kasey Kahne, and I hope that it's Scott Speed, but something tells me it ain't going to be Brian Vickers. I guess I'm hoping, and because I'm hoping, I know my dreams will end up being dashed. I'm so used to defeat. Well, Brian Vickers has maintained all along he'll be back next season, but we're not going to know officially until November. But I have my doubts about Brian Vickers as well, and Red Bull has stuck by Scott Speed all these years. They developed him, they plucked him over. Plucked him?
They plucked him over to Europe. They
Pluck a chicken.
They stood by him and when he was sick and got him the care he needed. I don't think all the questions about Scott Speed have been answered yet. I do think he's improved over last season, and I'm not sure that we know yet whether he has reached his full potential. I can't see them cutting him loose. I think Kasey Kahne is their backup plan, their ace in the hole in case Vickers doesn't get back. But I gotta think that neither Rick Hendrick nor Kasey Kahne saw this one coming. This is not the scenario they had in mind when they hatched this plan.
Who is Kasey's employer? Is it the guys at Red Bull, or is it Rick Hendrick? When he wins next year, does he thank Rick Hendrick from Victory Lane, or does he thank the guys at Red Bull and then call on his cell phone? Thanks, Rick. Thank Rick.
We may not know who Kasey Kahne's employer is going to be next season, but I guarantee you that Joe Gibbs is going to figure it out, and he's going to have something to say about it. Because
he will.
It's not going to be a technical alliance. We believe Red Bull's going to be sticking with Toyota.
Absolutely.
So it's all very weird and
congratulations, Russ Grimm. All right, next issue.
Issue number 2, part 2 in our
Duet
Kasey edition. Kasey Mears will be replacing Max Papis in the number 13 Geico Toyota.
Stop, time out. This is where Buzz Cutler piles on.
This season, and will be that ride's full-time driver next season. Is Kasey Mears, would he have been your choice?
Yes, he would have been my choice. Okay. I like Kasey Mears. We hung out in the airport, and he was very nice to me about Rowdy. And I know he raced for Hendrick and didn't do so well. And I know he raced for Richard Childerson, didn't do so well. And I know he raced for Red Bull and wrecked his teammate, but a man gets a 15th chance.
Look, I've interviewed Kasey Mears. He's a nice guy. I like him. It's Bass that he doesn't like very much.
I know. Bass pissed him off.
But how many chances does this guy get? He gets more lives than the cast of Cats. I mean, come on. He has proven time and time again that he's not going to get the job done. Why? Why Kasey Mears? Do you really think Kasey Mears gives you a better chance of getting in the show, Germain Racing, than Eric Almirola does?
I'm gonna ask Bob Pockrass this, because I think there's something under there. It must be that he's considered a good qualifier, or he's inexpensive, or he brings something else to the table.
Well, I guarantee you he's inexpensive. He's going to be racing for Germain Racing. I mean, they're not paying
why
top dollar.
Why not Brendan Gaughan? Why not Eric Almirola? Why not Scott Wimmer? I don't understand. These guys, I don't think I don't think all three of them have ever gotten a fair chance in NASCAR.
Yeah, and Kasey Mears has gotten plenty of chances and has proven that he's not up to the challenge.
But God, it's great to have Gluck and Mears back in Cup. It's fun.
All right, issue number 3. Lots of schedule changes for 2011. Lots of rumors, lots of announcements we expect to come. But here's what we know officially. Chicagoland Speedway will kick off the chase. And the Auto Club Speedway, well, this isn't official, but Auto Club Speedway is going to lose a date. Atlanta's going to lose a date. Kentucky is going to get one, and Kansas is going to get one. But let's focus on Chicagoland Speedway kicking off the chase.
Michael Jackson on this one. Why? Why? I mean, it must be human nature. I don't see why, when you're NASCAR and your ratings are down, and you want your playoffs to be the biggest thing going, and you really want to promote yourself, why you start with the Chicago race, a race that's really Great town, super city, but the race itself is never that good. And I don't know why you don't take a step back and go, what racetrack in the United States can I start my playoffs with? What do you say about Chicago? Yeah, we might get 2 wide. We might get 3 wide if we're really lucky.
I understand wanting to split up Richmond and New Hampshire because they're very similar tracks. And for the sake of variety, you might want to shove something in the middle of those. What I don't understand is why it's Chicago. If Atlanta is going to lose a date, wouldn't it help salve that wound by giving them the first chase date? I mean, I know they have Labor Day weekend, and that's a pretty auspicious weekend and a good weekend, a good travel weekend to have a race, but if you had the opportunity to launch the chase, isn't that worth giving up Labor Day? And wouldn't that be a more exciting way to kick off the chase? I just think there was a golden opportunity here that NASCAR missed, which is to say, yes, we're taking away a date from Atlanta, but in order to try to make up for that a little bit, they're going to kick off the chase. One of the most exciting tracks in NASCAR is going to kick off the chase.
I think it's a fine idea because the racing in Atlanta, although I would say, you know, you race fans in Atlanta, you're sucky because you don't show up to the race and then they took a race away from you and it's good racing, whereas in Chicago, it could be good, but...
You're hating on the fans.
I think the race fans in Atlanta need to show up to the damn race.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to show up tomorrow for another Rowdy.com Big 3, but that is it for today's. Check out Rowdy. If you haven't done so already, write a blog, post a video, and make sure that you comment right down there, on what Buck has gotten wrong today.
I didn't get anything wrong today.
You quoted Michael Jackson.
Well, tell him that it's him. Billie Jean is not my son.
Billie Jean is not my lover.
Oh, that's it. Or my son.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.